Dr. Valerie Nelson here, board certified integrative doctor from ValerieNelson.com. I wanted to take a moment to speak with you about Candida yeast and fungus issues. It's something that we deal with very, very commonly in our wellness practice. And it's such a widespread problem that it's just huge. There's so many articles written on it. There's some people are trying to figure out how in the world they can resolve their yeast and fungus issues. One fact I would say is it takes a lot longer to treat the issues than people realize. It's not, and some people might go to the medical doctors and they might get put on nystatin or diflucan, and only to find a couple weeks after they're off of that, their symptoms will return. And we're not just talking about vaginal yeast infections. Yeast can manifest in a whole bunch of different ways. Actually, if you go to my website, there is a free yeast and candida test that you can take under my articles. So if you go to drvalerienelson.com and you go to articles and you put on there, take the yeast questionnaire. It's a questionnaire that you can print off and see where you, what rating you get. But because it's confusing, yeast can manifest in gas and bloating issues. Obviously, the most common thing is vaginal yeast infections. It can manifest in food allergies. Basically, what it means is our whole intestines have thousands of different species of bacteria in there. Now, some of them are the good guys, some of them are the bad guys. I try to keep this as simple as I can when I talk to people. But we should have about 70 to 80% healthy immune system bacteria in there. And I'd say about 20 to 25% of bad kind of bacteria. And if we have those ratios, we're actually in pretty good health. What happens though is these ratios just get all out of whack over time. Much of it is because of our modern food supply, eating too much sugar, eating too much processed grains that actually turn into sugar. But I'll just give you one quick example. If you're not eating organic cheese, dairy, meats all the time, they are pumping these guys with antibiotics, and then we're ingesting those foods, and then guess what? We get secondary antibiotics from those food sources, and it messes up this whole intestinal gut bacteria. Unless you go on a natural plant-based antibiotic, like there's one that I developed called Wellness Boosters that you can find on our website, and it's not going to destroy all that healthy immune system bacteria. Matter of fact, it works to destroy the wrong bacteria. But I want to go through what a mini program will be for somebody who's struggling with yeast and candida and fungus issues. Again, go to my website. You can download that test for free and see how severe your candida is, your candida or yeast. So what you want to do, first of all, is you start out with something we have called Candida Fungus Fighters. We actually have a little brochure that goes through about how to take these products. But basically, you can find any of this stuff on our website. Candida Fungus Fighters, you'll start out with 1 a day, and you increase it by 1 a day till you get to 6 to bowel tolerance. And what I mean is, if you're at number 3, like the 3rd day, and you're moving your bowels 4 or 5 times a day, you might want to just stay at 3 for a little while because your body's just really detoxing good at 3. But you can go up to 6 if you can, and stay at 6 for a while. A good rule of thumb is for every year that you've had any kind of yeast symptoms, you want to do an anti-candida vitamin supplement program for at least a month for every year. Well, and you might add an extra 3 months onto that. So I do something almost every day to combat yeast or candida or fungus because I feel like our relatives were probably eating a lot more herbs and things like that that weren't, that were helping to naturally fight off these things. Another part of the program, it's a 3-step program, is something called Intestinal Enhancer. Now, the Intestinal Enhancer, I want to make sure I showed that Candida fungus bottle correctly. Sometimes I wiggle the bottles around and you can't see what I'm trying to show you. Okay, so the next thing is intestinal enhancer. This is great to take when you're doing an anti-Candida fungal program. You take 2 of these with each meal or even in between meals. So take 2 of them 3 times a day, ideally right before you eat. But if you take them after you eat or in between meals, they still work. They really work to help as a cleaner upper. So it helps your food to digest a lot faster, so that it doesn't sit around and ferment and give yeast and Candida a food supply. Okay, the other thing that's an absolute must is the professional probiotic. I actually created this professional probiotic. It's one of the strongest ones on the market for the price that you get it for. There's 100 capsules in here, and it's got 65 billion live cells per serving, and you want to take 2 to 3 of these on an empty stomach. You want to wait at least 20 minutes before eating. So the program is you want to kill off the bad guys, and then you want to start putting the good guys back in. And again, remember, you got to be patient with this. This is not a quick fix, but these 3 products, we have something on our website called the Digestion Pack too. This helps people with all kinds of digestion problems, but a lot of it stems from Candida yeast and fungus. If you crave sugar like crazy, that's a big sign that you have like a Candida or yeast imbalance. If you crave carbs and that's what you want to eat all the time, and then after you eat them you feel like sluggish, that's a big sign of Candida yeast and fungus. There's so many signs, but the test is very, very thorough. And also there are some sugar alternatives because sugar is really bad for you. Cancer cells love sugar. Matter of fact, when they test cancer patients to try to see if they can photograph the tumor, what they have them drink something that's high in sugar, because guess what? The sugar goes boom right to the cancer tumor, so they can photograph it better. So sugar's super bad for you. My preferred sweetener is stevia. I do tell people that if you're a person that can keep sugar at bay, if you eat a lot of sugar and you can keep sugar, I'm not talking about sugars and fruits, that kind of thing, but I'm talking about like processed sugar, high fructose corn syrup, anything like that. If you want to, you can try to keep it to 25 grams or less a day. You're doing better than most Americans. I personally keep it less than 10 grams a day. But there's some people, if they even eat 10 grams a day, then they just think about sugar all day long. Sugar, 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 sugar. So they're better off doing 0. So there is, the rule of thumb for an anti-Candida diet is actually limited fruit too. Just 1 or 2 servings of fruit a day. Very, very limited grains. You want to do lower carb grains, but you take the carb count on the label, you subtract out the fiber, and then that's the total carb count. We teach people this. My daughter Jenna, she's a certified nutritional counselor. She has her own website called healthhighness.com. She gives a lot of nutritional tips. Is it healthhighness.com? Did I say that right? Okay. And but anyway, she goes through some of these tips that are nutritional, so you might want to subscribe to her YouTube channel as well. But so you want to do more protein and a lot of vegetables. So whatever you can do, remember, you don't have to be perfect. That's the thing. Sometimes when people are trying to start a new program, if they mess up, they think, I'm going to give up the whole entire thing because I messed up. Well, you don't want to do that. So whatever you do where you're moving in a good direction, what we want to see in natural health, and I tell my clients that all the time, we want to see progress. So if you were here yesterday and you make 1 step in the right direction, that's great. And the day after, if you go backwards, don't worry about it. That doesn't mean you have to keep going backwards. You just take, the next right step. Okay, so remember, Candida yeast and fungus can cause a whole conglomerate of health problems. So you may want to go and just take that test and see if it's an issue for you. Have a blessed day.